And so now I spend less time in my garden and I have more time to do other things because I don't have to water as much. The weeds are probably 1% of less than what I ever had before. I used to spend up to about 4 hours a day pulling weeds. Now I spend probably 10 minutes.
This is my father-in-law, the ones that got me into this stuff. He's kind of done it his whole life. So maybe we'll do a tour and he can kind of show you what he's doing.
These chips here yesterday, I had a couple of piles. I used the one pile to make this. I got some bushes here. I want them to flourish. So I topped them all up. And over here I've got some berry bushes. These are the first fruit trees I put on this property. These 4. This is an apple tree. I got the strings on it to open up the branches because you have to let the sun in on them or you end up with no fruit. It just blocks everything out. So I got the string on, open up the branches. I pruned it last year. First year, the tree's probably 7 years old. First year I got apples was last year. This is a pear tree. It used to be 5 different kinds of pears, but I cut the rest of them out. I really didn't like them, so I cut them out and just left the one pear tree. And I got that tied up. Open up the branches, let the sun in. I had 2 nice pears on that last year. It was beautiful, Bartlett pear. These are peach trees. This peach tree had a disease last year. I had to cut it down to almost nil. It's come back beautiful.
So this is peach leaf curl is what he has.
Yeah, peach leaf
So
curl.
we were pulling leaves off just constantly all year, just trying to make sure that peach leaf curl is a fungal disease. It'll kind of fold the leaves over, so you want to pull the leaves off and get them out of there. You don't want to actually chop and drop peach leaf curl leaves. So it's been a struggle on that tree, but it's looking like, look at that pruning job. That is just, to me, like, that is beautiful. Looking fantastic. All right.
There's another peach tree. This is my favorite peach tree right here. Gives me the best peaches. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. It just explodes right in your mouth.
And look.
These are my little berry bushes here.
All wood chipped now. You know, garlic at the bases of the tree. Comfrey's all planted in here. There's a bunch of stuff in here as well.
I may have got he's going on this, but he got me going on the wood chips. And it is absolutely beautiful. Less weeds, less time, less watering. It's just perfect for me. I have 2 big bins at the back. I put my leaves in the bins. When they're ready, I take them out of there and put them in this pile here. I got my potatoes planted in these bins. I'm trying that this year. It's new. I used to put them in my garden, but I'm trying them in bins. And this is my garden here. And my little compost piles that I use for my garden. This is the garlic over here. I planted that last fall. It's funny about my garlic because the neighbor next door seen my garlic last year, and now if you look over at his garden, he has chips over on his garlic. He couldn't believe how my garlic turned out so well. Now if you take a look over there, the chips, that's his garlic there. He come over and borrowed some chips off me and put the garlic in the chips, and his garlic's coming up beautiful. These are 2 cherry bushes. They're the nicest cherries you ever had. They were full last year, full of cherries. When I first started this garden, these weren't even in my garden. I've extended my garden that much.
Yeah. So how big was the garden when you started
Garden
2 years ago?
was from that cherry bush to about here. That was my garden. I've added twice. This is just a berry patch. Cherries and raspberries. You can't see them right now because they have not started. They're starting. But once they go, this will be just a berry bush. Strictly berries. These are 2 apple trees. I put them in maybe 3 years ago.
What's that in the middle? Is that apple too, or is that one of the autumn olive?
Oh, this is that berry bush that me and you went out and got.
Yeah. So this is autumn olive. So this is
Yeah.
nitrogen fixing.
Yeah, that's a hydrogen fixing tree.
And then how long have you done the wood chips in this? And
The wood chips on this part is probably going on. This is my second year. Second year, I think. Yeah, last year. This could be my 3rd year with wood chips. This is my 3rd year with wood chips. The first year I only done. It was like an experiment. I done half to see how it would turn out, and I couldn't believe the difference. And so now I spend less time in my garden, and I have more time to do other things because I don't have to water as much. The weeds are probably 1% of less than what I ever had before. I used to spend up to about 4 hours a day pulling weeds. Now I spend probably 10 minutes. So it's fantastic.
which frees them up to do other stuff
Yeah.
like this is all new. Let's go talk about this stuff.
Gotta get away now, can't feel the day now. Got a sick feeling, like it's okay to be fine. And that ain't right. Gotta get some new air, but there is none here. Got a sick feeling, I'll forget how to talk. And that would be my love.
I planted these trees 2 years ago, and I'm going to make it a little orchard. I'm going to have it from here right to the back, little by little. So I topped everything up, again with the wood chips, because it's just less work for me. I have more time to do everything else. I'm into riding bike and everything like that. So last year or the year before, I had very little time. I golf, so I want the gardens, but I don't want it to eat up my whole life. So the wood chips are perfect. No weeds, no crap. I only have to water once in a while. If there's been no rain for a week, then I water.
And also, for anyone that doesn't know, our last couple summers, we've had really droughty, like flood drought conditions. So we had like 60 days no rain here,
Exactly.
and everyone's lawns was just dead.
And my garden was flourishing. I should give you pictures of my garden. I seen other gardens, they were dying. Mine was perfect.
Yeah, me too.
Perfect. My
Yeah.
lettuce, my beets, the best beets you ever tasted, the beans. I'm still eating beans from my garden from last fall.
Yeah, everyone's starving, and we're thriving last year.
This is apple tree, pear tree, a pear tree, a cherry tree, apple tree on the far side. That's that bush at
Autumn olive.
autumn olive. Then
So
we
just
got-
so everyone knows, autumn olive, you have to be careful because it spreads. But the idea behind autumn olive is you maintain a little bit of it, and you cut the rest of it as it wants to sucker and spread, and you drop it down. And every time you cut it, because it's a nitrogen fixer, it will release the nitrogen nodules in the roots and flush and feed everything else. So these kind of plants, if you want to put in something like that, you have to understand what you're getting into, and you have to understand that you have to manage that and constantly prune it, or else it will spread everywhere. It is considered invasive in some spots. Go ahead.
Another apple here, another apple in the back. And in between all these apple trees and cherry trees, I have raspberry bushes. You may not be able to see them now, but they are coming up. I have a couple of cherry bushes, raspberry bushes, And they're all in between. I'm not wasting no space.
What's this? Is this one?
That could be a raspberry. I'm not sure.
I think that looks almost like a sea berry.
It
Or
could be.
service berry. I wonder if I gave you any of those.
This is the blueberry. I got blueberry in here. I got raspberry here. Come over here. This is an apple tree my neighbor gave me. It was dying. I dug it up, and it's flourishing right now. It's growing like a weed.
And look at this.
A blueberry in here, a raspberry.
Sheet mulch, so you can tell. So that's one of the reasons why the weeds aren't a problem, because you basically smother them out, and then they're killed.
And over here, I got another apple tree, and you can see these raspberries because they're actually coming up nice. These are all raspberries. My grandson loves them. Here's my Christmas trees. The different trees I have here, I mulch every one of them because it just protects them. The sun don't dry up the dirt, and they stay moist all the time. You barely have to water anything.
And these things were sticks when you put them in.
They're probably about 4 inches tall.
Yeah, they've done really well.
And not as thick as my baby finger.
All right, let's go up to the stuff up here.
These are gardens, like they're just flower gardens and bushes. And I mulch all that. Less weeds, I don't have to take care of it, and I just mulch it. I just finished mulching this one yesterday. I'll start mulching all the other ones, topping it all up, and the mulch turns to soil. It actually feeds everything. These are lilac bushes. They're absolutely beautiful.
And this is medicine as well.
Another lilac. We love lilacs. This was the prettiest tree you ever saw last year. I could not believe how much it bloomed. It was unbelievable. It was so gorgeous. And before I put the mulch, it had never bloomed once. And I'm going on 10 years here. Last year was the first year it ever bloomed. More lilacs.
It's happy.
We just love lilacs. They smell so nice.
Remember, anything that's woody, so any of this woody stuff, you know, it really wants the fungal network that feeds off the wood chips. So it's not even the wood chip. The wood chips do the whole, you know, maintaining the moisture profile in the soil, which is great, feeding the worms, which is great. But what they really do is feed the mushrooms, and then the mushrooms are what feed the plants. So all these plants want to grow up in a soil microbiology that's full of mushrooms.
This is birch trees. I got these off my son-in-law, which is doing his video. They are absolutely beautiful. They were only sticks. When I first put them in, they were only that big. And they're absolutely beautiful. All coming, I mulch everything. I mulch everything now. It doesn't matter what it is, I mulch it.
I like how he did the clumps. I think these are going to just look fantastic in 10 years.
Just love them.
So this is another interesting thing here is, you know, we're actually raining right now, and you can see there's a sump pump that feeds the dogs when it overflows, and it gets really wet here, and then it'll overflow. So this is drainage for both properties, plus all the properties that feeds this whole entire property that the sump pump kicks out. So this spot here gets nice and wet. What a beautiful place to put water-loving bush-style plants. So this bed here is just absolute and exploding, and I'll tell you, the raspberries that were growing here last year just blow your mind away, and so productive. And the wood chips are a big reason why, but this is a huge reason why. All the water they could ever want.
This is the haskap.
That's the haskap there, yeah.
It's absolutely beautiful.
Haskap's a bit of more of a sour berry, but wonderful. Really nice berry.
These are raspberries. They're all starting to come back, flourish. And in between the raspberries, I have strawberries. You just see them starting to come up.
Where'd you get those?
Got them off my son-in-law. Went over and stole them.
Free.
Yeah.
Right? Like this is
Yeah.
free food.
Yeah. And as you can see, chips again. Chips on everything. This is my rhubarb. I've never had better rhubarb since I put the chips in. I used to have trouble with the rhubarb. I couldn't get it to stay. It would always die on me till I put the chips. Now it just comes up, boom, boom, boom. I have birch back here and I have lilac. And I chipped all that. I don't have to worry about cutting grass in there, weeds in there, nothing. And then I got my these are my two favorite apple trees right here. These are my favorite. Macintosh. This is my favorite tree. The first time I had an apple off that tree, there was two. I gave one to my granddaughter and I had one. And she didn't want to eat it. She took one bite and I took it and I finished it. It was that good. I could not waste that apple.
Well, that's good. So now, you know, we've kind of seen your gardens, and we'll come back sometime midsummer and take a look at everything when it's really kicking.
When my garden's full bloom, you should come back.
Absolutely.
It's unbelievable.
So let me know in the comments below if you want to visit this place again, if you enjoyed this video. And thanks for watching. Subscribe and stick around. We've got lots of awesome videos coming this summer. It's going to be a wonderful summer. We're getting soaked, so we're going to head in.